All right, guys, the moves just keep on coming. Good late afternoon, everybody. Things are happening at a very rapid pace. And on the one hand, I'm kind of glad we're getting all this stuff out of the way today before free agency hits because there's going to be a lot to talk about starting tomorrow. On the other hand, I certainly have mixed thoughts on most of the moves that are happening. The Ernest Jones thing was pretty great, right? The Ernest Jones thing, money, everything else, I'm conflicted. I'm a little bit conflicted. So the DK Metcalf trade has been punched in. The DK Metcalf trade is happening. He is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we now know where he's going. We now know roughly the kind of contract that he's going to be getting from the Steelers. And we also know the compensation that we're getting. So Tom Pelissero has the latest and greatest here. The Steelers are sending their 2025 second round pick to Seattle. 1 second round pick. So a slightly below average second round pick for DK Metcalf. Now, the good news is that is significantly better than the compensatory pick we could have gotten for Metcalf if we had just forced him to play out the last year of his deal and let him walk in free agency. So we're not going to be able to say it's negligible with just forcing him to play out his deal and letting him walk. This is better than that by a pretty decent margin. And also, I don't know if Tom Pelissero doesn't know math or he had a typo. Well, he clearly had a typo somewhere. But he went on to say that DK signed a 5-year, $150 million contract with the Steelers. Now, either way, 5 years is interesting. I have mixed thoughts on that as well. I don't know if I would have been willing to do it. I can see the benefit. I can see the downside. But 150 divided by 5 equals 30 million. And then he says Metcalf got 33 million per year. So either he had a typo on the 33 or a typo on the 150. I don't know. I'm assuming he had a typo on the 33. Now, if it's a 5-year, $150 million contract, that's something I may have been amenable to. If it's 33 per, which would make it 5 years, 165 million, then yeah, I think we pretty clearly did the right thing not extending him to that. 33 per year. That's a bridge I'm not really willing to cross right now, but I think it's probably 30, which I'm conflicted about. I can see it both ways. I can understand both perspectives, and at the end of the day, we didn't want to do whatever. Now, I'm going to go ahead and continue to say it. Getting just 1 second round pick, a mediocre second round pick, not the Raiders second round pick or something like that, but the Steelers second round pick, which is going to be what? It's not even in the top 50, is it? They made the playoffs last year. It's I think just around number 50, right around there. That's hard for me to really get excited about. And I know people are going to say, well, nobody was willing to give you more than that. And that may be true. But I look at what these other receivers have gotten in recent trades, and I just feel like, what's up here? And by the way, to my knowledge, Pittsburgh's not a warm weather city, so a little bit intriguing that he was willing to go there and sign an extension for such a long-term deal. And by the way, remember when he said he wanted a more stable quarterback situation? The Steelers' quarterback situation is as unstable as it gets right now. I don't even think they have one on the roster. Maybe they have some third stringer under contract, but that is a very unstable quarterback situation. So it seems like DK had to make some concessions himself. But yeah, it's over now, and I don't know. I'm not particularly happy about it. I'm not really upset about it. Like that's really not that much compensation. And by the way, according to I think it was Schefter, we also swapped our 6th round picks and 7th round picks. I don't really care about that. That's like moving down a couple of spots at the very bottom of the draft. That to me is basically just like the GMs wanting to feel like they're doing more work than they actually are, so they throw that together. I'm not going to trip on that. I think we lost a little bit of value there, but it's so insignificant. I don't know, guys. I know he's not as good as AJ Brown. But you look at what the AJ Brown trade ended up being for the Titans and Eagles. You look at what some of these other receiver trades have been, guys like Stephon Diggs, guys like, you can go back to Odell, I guess. I know that's a little bit of a tougher one, but the bottom line is it feels like John is really struggling to get good value in these trades. It feels like these other teams are getting one over on him. I know that people are going to try to justify and spin these trades to be favorable for the Seahawks, but I can only go on my read on the situation. And my read is if this was the best you could do, you probably should have just had him play out the last year of his deal. You probably should have hoped that something better came along, or maybe, I mean, look, you're going for it in 2025. You have to believe that it's going to work. If it works, does DK Metcalf come back next year and he's like, wait a minute, I actually want to be here now because I like what we're building? Like, you could have gone that way as well, right? So, I don't know, guys. I understand that the compensation that we were looking for wasn't there, but I don't think the next logical step from that is, okay, just take whatever you can get, unless you're in fire sale mode, and we are nowhere near fire sale mode. We are clearly, with these recent moves, trying to find a way to crowbar a good season in 2025. And I'm sorry, but I think that's going to be really hard to do. And it's hard for me to understand how, like, when the Seahawks traded Russell Wilson 3 seasons ago, I had mixed thoughts on that for sure, but the one thing I could say is we got a big haul. We were able to fast track what we were going to be post Russell Wilson because we got so much when we traded him. 2 firsts, 2 seconds. I think there was a late pick as well, and we sent back a late pick too. And then there were 3 at least semi-intriguing players with Harris, Fant, and Locke. We just traded the core of our offense, Metcalf and Geno Smith, for a mediocre second-round pick and a bad third-round pick. That's not fast-tracking much of anything. Like, you could hit on those picks, you could get good players, but you're not going to be able to parlay that into some franchise-changing core. It's just a couple more pretty decent, workable, passable bullets. So, it's over. I guess we got it over with before free agency hits. I like that, but it feels like we got played a little bit here. It feels like we got played in a way that indicates we are not working from a position of power when we're doing these things. Feels like our position was more just get him out of here. And I'm sorry, that does contradict what John Schneider said a couple of days ago when he said we're going to do what's best for the team, and there's a real possibility DK is stuck here for 2025, and we're not going to just move him to move him. And the initial ask was first and third. This, even if you say the first and third was going to be pretty low, this is significantly, this might be like on the Jimmy Johnson chart, this might be like half what we were asking. And we took it anyway. That tells me that we were working from a position of desperation. And now, even though we're doing this, even though we're kind of tearing down the old offense, we're apparently going to go for it in 2025. And I don't feel great about it. And it's hard to be too excited about anything for me right now. So DK Metcalf gone for a middling to slightly below average second round pick. He signs a big deal with Pittsburgh. I can understand why Seahawks fans would not have been jumping out of their seat to do it, but there were other ways. There was a third option here, and we have not taken it. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks.